It feels weird that I haven't dedicated an entire video to Jinsung Ha yet. Like, he's one of the most major characters in the story that we've read so far, and I haven't even, dedicated a video to him? What's going on? Jinsung Ha is a high ranker, obviously Bomb's master and mentor, but he's so much more than that. He is an ancient figure in the tower, someone who's been around for literally thousands of years, seeing ages come and pass and witnessing all of these things before him. And now, obviously, he's sealed. So this is the perfect time before we hopefully rescue him to discuss his past, who is he, what's going on with his character, his powers, and pretty much everything we know about Jinsung Ha. If you like lore videos and Tower of God content, this channel is perfect for you because we cover a lot of that kind of content, and I'm gonna be releasing more lore videos going forward. So if you have suggestions on characters or events or places that you want to see covered in the lore videos, definitely let me know in the comments down below, because this video actually was suggested by one of the comments. Kunoguro Anyas, you're getting what you wish at long last. Let's start at the very beginning. Dude, Jinsung Ha is a descendant of course, Yurin Ha. Yurin Ha is the leader of the Ha family and the great-grandmother of Yuri. Now, Jinsung is actually the grandson of Yurin, which makes Yurin Ha his grandmother. So basically, Yurin Ha, if you don't know, had twins. She had twins, and they are basically the ancestors of the entire rest of the Ha family, pretty much, as far as we know. And actually, Yurin Ha married and had kids with, or maybe she didn't marry him, but she had kids with Ari Han, another member of the 10 families. That's something that for some reason a lot of people don't know about. I'm not sure why it's not talked about more, because that's a big deal. So for example, Sharon, Ari Bright Sharon, her ancestor, the leader of the Ari family, and then Yuri's ancestor, the leader of the Ha family, they got together, and pretty much all the kids of the Ha family are their descendants, their children. So everyone in the Ha family actually also has Ari blood. Unless Yurin also had more kids aside from the twins, but mostly the twins are definitely the main ones. One of these twins had Jinsung, so that's exactly how he's related. He's a direct descendant of Yurin, very highly ranked in the family, you know what I mean? He is right there. While Yuri is a great-granddaughter, which is also very closely related, but that makes Jinsung Yuri's uncle, so Yuri is Jinsung's niece. Also, Ju Chun, one of the 3 lords of the tower, is actually Jinsung's uncle, because Ju Chun is a son of Ari Han with another woman. Bro, these 10 family leaders are just having babies like crazy. Jinsung currently is pretty old. I mentioned thousands of years old. We know for sure he's over 3,000 years old, but definitely he's gotta be even older than that, because 3,000 years ago, roughly, is when the whole Calivan meeting Calivan thing went down, the essence of bravery and training him a little bit and teaching him about what he should do with his life. So that makes Jinsung probably freaking 5,000 years old, if I were to guess, because he looked about the same 3,000 years ago. He seemed weathered, he seemed experienced. I would imagine he's probably 5,000 plus years old. His position is fisherman, and he currently works for Fug as someone who trains slayers, essentially. He's only had 2 students, aside from Calivan. As far as we know, he's trained Karaka and Bomb. Those are his main disciples, his main students. He's considered a martial arts teacher, so he mostly focuses on the physical fighting aspects and also teaching the traditional and, obviously Fug's standard and, their main thing. And of course, he also teaches the signature flare wave explosion, which the actual accurate translation to that would be the floral butterfly piercing technique, which combines the regular flow of Shinsu with the reverse flow of Shinsu to create a devastating attack. Bro, the floral butterfly is kind of awesome. I wish we saw him. I wish we saw it more. All right, but let's talk about some history with my boy Jinsung. So basically, again, he was born to one of the twins, and he grew up in the Ha family, but he fell in love. He fell in love with a woman, great, good for you, Jinsung. But then this woman was actually sold to a branch of the Ha family. We know the 10 families, they operate mostly in branches, or many of them do. We know the Lopobia family has 20 different branches with different animals, Elaine is from the wolf branch or whatever. And there's the bird branch with Dakoko. There's a lot of different branches. And the Ha family, it's the same thing. The Kun family, it's the same thing. So one branch, she got sold to one of these branches. You can imagine how, and he was angry, furious, and so he did the only thing that of course was necessary. he wiped them all out. They're all dead. He wiped out the entire family, but he couldn't rescue her. She actually ended up dying. I don't know if she died like through the event because he was, I think they must have killed her. Who knows? It's shrouded in some kind of mystery. We don't know a whole lot about it, but she died in his arms. We see that panel. It's pretty tragic. And so, of course, Jinsung develops a grudge because he's not done. Like, he wiped out this branch of the family, his own family, right? Not necessarily his own branch, but like his own family, his flesh and blood, he wiped them out. And so he wasn't done. He was like, no, I still have a grudge against the great families. I'm gonna go work for Fug. Because we have to remember, Fug is not only anti-Jaha, they are also anti-great families. Like, that's a big part of what they do. He ended up training Karaka, training Viol, and that's that. He actually mentioned like Karaka. Karaka's somebody who I feel like kind of gets shafted sometimes in the story because he's always fighting someone stronger than himself, like Yuri or Yurik or whoever, right? He's always having to punch up, per se. But it is worth noting, Jinsung said Karaka he's the newest Slayer, and he's growing extremely fast. So just because he seems weak, it doesn't mean that at all. He's growing like crazy. He's gonna become a top, one of the top rankers. He just became a high ranker. So, but anyway, he also said, but at the same time, Viol is growing faster, so, that's worth considering. Basically, there's that line where he tells Karaka, he's gonna take you off your throne. Remember back in the day when Karaka was like a villain? Dude, good times, man. Dude, Karaka was a villain. Like, he was straight up a villain. That's wild, man. I'm not gonna go into Jinsung's role, like, in the main story as far as his actual appearances, aside from maybe, like, what it tells about his personality, because we all know he's there coaching Bomb, basically. He's always there on the sidelines, trying to help Bomb, either, like, right there, or in the shadows, like the Name Hunt station, purchasing Elaine and all that stuff, or trying to stop him from boarding the Hell Train. Which, by the way, was a smart move, because Jinsung wasn't sure if Joaquin was already white. If Joaquin was already white, Bomb would be dead, just flat out. But at the same time, like, Jinsung is somebody he has this like fun personality that he shows sometimes. It's a mask, bro. Jinsung is not usually like that. He's a very serious guy. He's not like deadpan or anything, but like he obviously is a very scarred and troubled individual who is just so weathered by experience that he knows how to handle that. And so sometimes he's like, hey, my student, Viol, and he's all fun and games, but at the end of the day, he's like, hey, Team Sweet and Sour, I will kill you. That's Jinsung Ha, somebody who cares very much for his students. He tries to do whatever he can for them, but Viol in particular, you know what I mean? Like, Karaka was somebody who he's obviously proud of, but Viol became pretty much his son. Like, Jinsung is very much a father figure to Bomb. Bomb never had that. Like, I would say the closest thing to a parental figure was Rachel. She was kind of like a mother figure or an older sister figure to Bomb, and Jinsung was a step above that. He was the father figure, bro. And at first we think, oh, he's just doing it for Fug, but he genuinely came to care about Bomb to the point where he's risking his life for him, and he almost died to Calavan just for Bomb. And that says a lot about who he is. Also, he's a very understanding individual. Like, for example, he was sent to go, like, wipe out Team Sweet and Sour because they were slowing down Viol, according to Fug. But he saw that Team Sweet and Sour was actually doing exactly what Bomb needed. Like, Bomb is somebody who needed friends. He lost all of his friends on the second floor during the first season, and he needed people who could bring out the best in him, and Jinsung saw that, and so he let them go, despite the fact that they were not the strongest individuals. And also, he came to take a liking to Wang Nan. He called him Wang Nang, I think, which is hilarious, but basically Wang Nan is the one who helped him get over his smoking habits and gave him some lollipops instead, which is just adorable. Okay, but let's talk about how strong Jinsung is. Is Jinsung strong? How does he stack up to everybody else? Spoilers, he's pretty strong. Jinsung is on a whole nother level. He is top 100 high rankers, which I honestly think among that 100, he's gotta be like top tier, maybe like top 60 or something, because he obviously, his big accomplishment recently was fighting against Calavan. Calavan is also top 100, but Calavan also had the essence of bravery. He had all these things going for him, and Jinsung was able to fight him blow for blow. Like, it was a close fight, and Jinsung would have won if he didn't underestimate Calivan's durability because of the essence of bravery and everything. So, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment, and SIU even said that that fight, Jinsung versus Calivan, that's a legendary fight that would go down in the history books of the tower, because that was such a big event, such a big deal. It's also worth noting that many people have said, or at least it's been mentioned in the story or by SIU once or twice, that Jinsung is stronger than Karaka, for example, who is a slayer. Now, that's not like a huge shock to anybody, but Karaka's a slayer, you know? And Jinsung is stronger than not just Karaka, but some of the other slayers, like Yama even. There are slayers in Fug that are weaker than Jinsung. Just because Jinsung is stronger, it doesn't make him a slayer. He's basically the guy who makes the slayers. You know, in anime, when it's like the mentor figure trains the main hero, you know, the mentor figure is not the main hero, but they're still usually stronger than the main hero, at least for a majority of the story. I mean, just think about this, bro. Not only was Jinsung fighting back blow for blow against Calivan, using his ultimate technique against him, you know, and then he had his arms crushed by Calivan. After that, he was still fighting, then he got backstabbed by Mashini, and then even after that, he was able to use reverse flow control on both of them. High rankers, he was able to reverse their Shinsu. That is wild, bro. That is insane. Which means that not only is Jinsung a master at martial arts, but also at Shinsu. And then, of course, being from the Ha family, he has immense durability and Shinsu resistance. And, I mean, he told Calivan, you know, the meatheads in the Ha family who only use their bodies, like, and they sort of have this reputation for promoting the Ha family's durability. The Ha family isn't just about durability, we're actually technicians. You know, able to create skills and techniques and use all these different moves to gain the advantage in battle. And I imagine that the people he's talking about are people like Yuri, who's just like, I'm gonna punch my way through this situation, or even like Nobik, who's from an offshoot branch of the Ha family. You know, they're known for being just big brutes, like Yuri and Nobik. But at the end of the day, they're technicians, which is pretty sick. And something I do want to also point out is that it is known that Jinsung has actually met Jihad before, which is like crazy to me, probably because Jinsung is the grandson of Yurin. Like, that's a very close relation, you know? And he was born probably not that long after the climb and everything, so he actually knows members of the 10 family heads and Jihad himself, which is kind of wild to me because you almost think of them as in two different worlds, but that's kind of cool. I wonder what they talked about, what the topics were, if it was before or after his betrayal. Probably before, right after he wiped out the family, because that kind of made him a target. But still, I think that's really interesting. How many times do I say interesting in my videos? It's gotta be an average of like 9 or 10 per video, right? And that's about it. I'll end the video with a quote here that I think is really interesting, and it sort of sums up a lot of what Jinsung is about. It's a quote that he says to Mashini, I think it's when they're fighting. This is on the wiki here, and I think it's a great quote. It says, "Do you know why there hasn't been a major war in this tower since the ancient wars? Old people hate change. This may seem very unstable to some generations, but to us who are used to this situation, we're afraid of things changing. The same goes for me. Our bodies don't get sick or weaken as we age, they actually get stronger. But at some point, our minds get sick and become dull to everything. And so we have an adverse reaction to even the smallest changes. We've been weathered by time." I think that's a really great quote. Weathered by time. Jinsung Ha, the man, the myth, the legend. I hope they can rescue him from the nest. I have a feeling that tragedy is gonna strike somehow in resulting in some deaths for people, but we'll see how. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the lore video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more daily content, and if you wanna support us further, we have a Patreon page. Thank you so much to each of the patrons. You guys rock as always. We also have a Discord server. The link is down below. We have a lot of fun there. I'm planning on doing more events there and stuff, maybe playing some games or doing some things directly with you guys. So I think it'd be a lot of fun. If you want to join that, the link is also down below. And with that, I'll see you guys in my next Tower of God lore video. Take care.